Hi, in today's video, we'll take you through the tab functionality in Oracle Procurement Cloud. Tab or the Transaction Account Builder provides a flexible way to derive accounting flex fields or the segments for subledger application. With this functionality, organizations can derive all the transaction accounts, and Tab provides a larger pool of sources. This is a new concept in Oracle Application Cloud, replacing the prior account generator solutions in Oracle EBS. Like in Oracle EPS, the purchasing module uses the account generator workflow to derive the account combinations on, say, purchase orders and requisitions. So Oracle purchasing provides default account generator processes to use. However, if we have different business requirements, then we have to customize the Oracle workflow builder. Through that, we use to achieve those requirements, business requirements. But Oracle Application Cloud, this functionality has been replaced by Tab, and that's a very powerful functionality which helps you in delivering the predefined account defaulting rules. So Oracle gives seeded tab accounts as well, which can be used. And if there are any customizations or there are business requirements which needs to be catered, then this functionality also gives the ability to all those requirements. So agenda for this particular video is that show you the components of tab, then show the setups which are required for tab in Procurement Cloud, and at last we'll show in the Oracle Cloud part how to create a mapping set and account rule for a custom say requirement. So moving to the first topic, which is tab components. TAD, which you see there, the full form of that is transaction account definition. This is the top level process in tab, which is built into Oracle workflow process, you can say. So here TAD first define the transaction account definition. Under transaction account definition, you specify so Oracle provides these five accounts: the charge account, accrual account, variance account, which we normally see in the even Oracle EBS purchasing documents also, where these three accounts used to show. And along with these two accounts, there are two more accounts: destination charge account and the destination variance account. Charge account, as we know, that this is the account where the actual money spent is finally withdrawn or charged. Variance account, this is, or the accrual account, this is the intermediary account which records the whatever the money has been spent on goods and services that have been consumed but are not invoiced. And the variance account is the account which records the entry to create variance for certain kind of spending. There is a variance between a purchase order amount, what was actually ordered, and the what was actually billed in the invoice. So this captures that, this particular account. And these two accounts, destination charge and destination variance account, these are in addition of these three accounts where these capture in case of scenarios like intercompany transaction where say procuring organization and destination organizations are involved. So the destination charge account, this is the charge account belonging to the destination organization, and destination variance account, this is the variance account belonging to the destination organization. And basically in transaction account, so these are all these transaction, the accounts, they are called transaction account types. So TAT is for transaction account types. So in transaction account definition, we have all these types, which are the predefined types. And under, once we have all these five transaction account types, we can specify the account combination rule. So account combination rule is where we can create or we can use the seeded rules which are provided by Oracle, or we can create a custom rule for say any of the transaction account type. So say there is a requirement where some modification is required in charge account, there is a rules or the requirements are different rather than the seeded functionality. So you can create a custom charge account rule and then attach it in the for that particular transaction account type. So it will be clear when we show that in the instance. We can have for a particular transaction account type combination rule as well as a segment rule. The difference between these two is that account combination rule derives the whole account combination, like you have the company, department, and the natural account in that. Or if there is a specification to just change, say there is a particular account where the natural account needs to be derived differently, there is a requirement for that, then you can specify the segment overlay rule or the segment rule, you can call it. Then account combination rule, under account combination rule, you can specify another account combination rule, or you can have a mapping set, or you can have the source. So this is basically the transaction account tab components, and these are the setups which are required in Procurement Cloud. This is mapping set is not mandatory, but this is required when there is a different requirement from the seeded tab accounts or the rules which have been provided by Oracle. So then in that case, the custom mapping set or a new mapping set can be created. And then those mapping sets, they are attached to account rules. Account rules again can be customized based on the business requirement, and then the account rules are attached to the transaction account definition. So this is a flow, the way we have to set up them. And then at the last, the transaction account definition, this needs to be attached in the ledger accounting option for the subledger application. So now we'll show you in the instance. This is setup. So you go to setup and maintenance, select the procurement offering. If you scroll down on the functional areas, you'll see procurement transaction account rules. Click on that. This will show you the tasks which are required for procurement transaction account rules. So these are the major tasks required for, like we were discussing about the account rules. This is for definition. This is the subledger accounting option. So first I'll show you the ledger which we are going to use, and on that which transaction account definition is attached. This is the last step where you attach the transaction account definition. So if you want to see which transaction account definition is being used for procurement, then this is the way you can check it. So you click on this task, manage subledger accounting options, and then you have to select the ledger. So say for this vision environment, US primary ledger. Okay, click on search. So this US primary ledger would come, and then you click on this particular icon to expand the accounts or the applications under it. So this would list the all the subledger applications which are enabled for this ledger. And here, this is the place where you can, for each subledger application, you can define the accounting option and the system option, and under accounting options we mention the transaction account definition. So on the purchasing, click on this edit icon for editing the accounting options. So for this, so here you see the subledger application is purchasing, and along with the other general options for this ledger, here transaction account definition. So to this ledger, GAC tab is the accounting definition which has been attached, and will show you what all components this account definition is having. I'll just copy this. So this is the place where the transaction account definition, or this is the task where the transaction account definition is attached. Now we'll go to manage transaction account definitions. So in manage transaction account definition, you see this is the seeded tab which Oracle gives for purchasing. So the one which was attached to the US primary ledger which we saw was GSC tab. So we'll click on that. So this is a good practice that whenever a custom transaction account definition is required, then to copy the seeded one, and wherever the copy that particular definition, and then wherever the changes are required. Say in this case, the charge account, rest of the account combination rule which are attached are the seeded one. However, the for charge account, the GSC purchasing charge account is the custom account combination rule defined. So you can copy the seeded rule and then create a new one. The way to do that is you select this and select the purchasing tab or default accounting and click on duplicate. This would create a new transaction account definition. So in transaction account definition, you have the name, the short name description in the header part, and in account rule assignments. So this is the place where we talked about transaction account types. So these are the transaction account types which Oracle gives, like accrual for accrual account, charge account, destination charge account, and destination variance account, and account combination rules. So this is to capture the whole account combination rule. This particular, the values or the definitions, account rules have been attached here. On top of this, if there are certain segment rules, say we want to capture the natural account, or say there is a cost center which needs to be override from the defaulted value from this account combination rule, then that can be achieved by attaching that account combination rule. So we'll give you an example at the end and show how that can be achieved for this particular case. So just to give you the just that's in this transaction account definition, you attach the account combination rule and the segment rules. If there are requirements where the from the defaulted value of the account combination rule, there are certain segments which further needs to be defaulted or changed, then the segment overlay rules or the segment rules can be used. So now we would go and see the account rules. So for that, you have to go to manage account rules task. Click on manage account rules task. This would list all the account rules here defined for purchasing subledger application. So if you see here, wherever the created by is Oracle, these are the seeded account rules which have been provided by Oracle. If I say open the purchasing charge account, so this was the GSC purchasing charge account rule, was the custom account rule which was attached in the transaction account definition, and this is the standard one. So say if I open this would show you in the header you will have the name, short name, description, and the chart of accounts. So if you specify the chart of accounts, then in the rules there is a value type called constant that would show. But if you don't specify that, then that particular value would not show. So then you can't set up a constant value. Say there is a requirement that for a variance account, there is a standard account which needs to be defaulted for all the purchasing documents or the transactions. Then that can be achieved through, you have to specify the chart of accounts, and in the value type you have to specify the type as constant, and then here in the value you mention that account combination, and the rule type here is account combination rule. So the account, if you specify the account combination rule, then it would get the whole account combination. If you specify it as a segment, then that rule can be used as for defaulting a particular segment. Then this, if you specify the rule type as segment, this would be used in case of the segment overlay rules. So the types, if in the rules is the place where you give the what all are the ways the accounts would be derived. Like the source here, Oracle provides you whole lot of sources which can be used. So if you see here, there are around 14-15 rules have been defined for these many sources. If there is a requirement to define more sources, those can also be included. And then for those sources, you specify the source and then you add the condition. Like say for expense requisitions, the charge account needs to be derived from employee charge account. Then on that particular condition you can add like the employee charge account is not null, or the destination type is expense. So all those sorts of conditions you can have a and or conditions here. If you don't add a condition, then it means that it is applicable for all the transactions. That's the significance of adding the conditions. So in account rule can be used for getting, so main just for this setup is that you can use it for creating a particular account, the rule type with the account combination rule, or you can create it to create a segment overlay rule. Okay. The last setup is defining the mapping set. So mapping set, as we said, this is only required when there are custom or when there are business requirements which are not served with the seeded tab accounting or the seeded transaction account definitions which or the rules which are provided by Oracle, then in that case you can create custom mapping sets and attach those to account row. So these are the mapping sets currently defined, and if you see here the created by Oracle, these are given by Oracle. So there are few which even Oracle gives, like in case of this expense account item. So if I open this purchasing expense account item, so this mapping set is for expense account item. You can, based on the item number and inventory or code, if you want to get a particular chart account or the account combination, then that can be defaulted. So you specify the item number and the inventory, or then for based on that the whole account would get defaulted. Likewise, if there are custom requirements or there are different business requirements, these can be achieved through creating the mapping set. So now we will show you one simple example. Say there is a requirement that on top of the charge account, which is defaulted as per the account combination rule, there is a requirement that, say, for the expense requisitions where the account, natural account, it should get defaulted or redefaulted based on the item category. So how that can be achieved? So first we'll show you the account which is getting defaulted on the requisition when we say create a non-catalog requisition. Procurement, purchasing, create a non-catalog request. So right now, if I create requisition, if I select the category as say miscellaneous, the price, just check the what account is getting defaulted on the requisition. So right now, this particular charge account is getting defaulted. We will create a mapping set. So this is basically coming from the expense account setup for this particular employee or the requester. And once we define a mapping set, we will create a mapping set to redefault or to override the natural account segment from this particular defaulted value. So right now it is 11104. We will change this value to something else so that that would show here. Save and close. Setup and maintenance. Select procurement offering. Select the procurement transaction account. First, we will create a mapping set. Here, we'll click on create. Then we in the mapping set to specify the name. We'll say output type. So as we are going to override the natural account segment. So output type in our case would be segment. If you want to override the whole or you want to have the whole segment, then mapping set would be created for account segment. For a particular value set, then that can be selected. So say segment I select, and then in input source. So input source is the main criteria. Here the like we are creating it, the input source for our business requirement or the example is that based on the item category selected on requisition, this needs to be overridden the natural account. Source in our case is item category, select that. Likewise, based on the item category attributes also this can be done. So there are a whole lot of sources which Oracle provides. So then you select the chart of accounts attached to this ledger. So for this one it's US, and then you select the account. So say we are going to override the account or natural segment, select that. And then in the mappings, this is the place where you do mapping. I'll just do a mapping for miscellaneous item category account. So right now when we created the requisition, this on the whole account, charge account, this particular account was defaulting. So we are going to update it with or override it with say 101. This can give the effective dates here, and likewise if you want to have it for different item categories or different say, then you can also have that. Along with that, if say so you can have more input sources here as well. Say you want to have the ship to organization or destination, those sources are also available. So based on the business requirements, these conditions or the input sources can be increased, and even the input, and based on that the input categories or the input items would increase. So we will save this and then manage account rules. We will create an account rule. So what we are going to do is we created a mapping set. Now we are going to create an account rule, which would be segment overlay rule, and that we would attach in the transition account definition. So I'll click on the plus icon, specify the name, short name. So in our case, we are going to use it for defaulting or overriding the segment, particular segment. So we'll select the root type as segment. And which segment you want to default or derive is that you can mention here. You can say natural account segment. And then in rules, we have to select the mapping set. As we have created a mapping set, we'll select that mapping set here. You have to give the whole name. This was the rule or the mapping set which we have created. Expense charge account segment for item category. So I'll select this. If you have certain conditions, more conditions to put, I'm not putting conditions here. So if there are conditions which needs to be added here, qualifying condition, that can be added here. So you click on validate just to validate this particular rule. It says validation is complete. So you click on save and close. Here, purchasing natural account for charge account. I'll click. Now the next step is to attach this segment overlay rule to the account definition. So we have to go to the transaction account definition which is attached to the ledger which we are using. This was GSE tab, and here for the natural account, this was for the charge account you want to attach. You can do this for all these account types. Just search here. Okay, and then save it. So once you save this, status would change back to incomplete. So you have to activate it. Only then this would the changes would reflect. So make sure that this is very important. The status of the transaction account definition is active. Now this is showing as active. Now we'll again go to requisition and we'll create a new non-catalog requisition. So click on purchase requisition. From more tasks, we'll create a catalog requisition. So we have created the rule for miscellaneous category. So select that category and then select the price, add to cart, so add it, preview, scroll down to see the charge account. Here, if you see here, earlier the charge account was coming as 1104 here. Based on the segment overlay rule which we have defined, this is now coming as 1101. So this is the way you can configure based on the business requirements and the different segment overlay rules you can create. You can create the mapping sets and attach it to the create accounting rule and attach it to the transition account definition. So with this, we have completed the transition account definition setups and demo of all the setups required. Thank you for watching this video.